Kala Yabashim Yashabashim Makakadash Barakatah. Double honors to the elder apostles of Great Millstone. Salutations to all the brothers and Akim around the world pushing the truth and sincerity. It's the brother Yawadan. Just have a quick video on reaping and sowing. Basically the heathen and the other nations, they're going to be going into slavery based on the choices they made and the Lord using them to punish us as Israelites, Negroes, Latinos, and Native Americans as Israelites in our bloodline for disobedience unto the scriptures. So the Most High used them basically as a whooping stick, as a basically a method of correcting us, putting us under them in slavery and subjection. And that's where we remain to this day right now. So we're waiting for who the world calls Jesus. His name is Yahweh Shai Hamashiach. And we are in subjection in America under these other nations, primarily Esau, Edom. All right. And we are waiting for our king to come back and get us. Hold on, we're not going to there. We're going to this. I'll start with Revelations 13 and 10. And basically what I want to do is let the scriptures speak, because although my aforementioned words were basically a breakdown of what the scriptures say, we're going to get the scriptures so that you can see that this is what is destined for these other nations, is destined for the world, if you believe the scriptures. And even then, it's only for Israel anyways to believe. So you probably don't, and you probably will get offended if you aren't an Israelite. But if you do, then you probably are an Israelite, and you need to return to the law, statutes, and commandments of Yahweh Bashem Yahushai, and try to keep them to the best of your ability. This is Revelations 13 and 10. He that leadeth into captivity shall go into captivity. He that killeth with the sword must be killed with the sword. Here is the patience and the faith of the saints. And this is the patience and the faith that we have here at Great Millstone, starting with the elder apostles down, that Esau Edom will receive recompense for his actions and his great violence on the nation of Israel. All right, not just in slavery and the so-called Negroid slavery, so-called, or the Native American genocide, but throughout all history. You know, one of the elders in Chicago, Elder Malcolm, does a great series on breaking down some of the travesties and atrocities, I should say, that Esau Edom has committed. And there are a lot of brothers out there in GMS that have detailed in great extent in terms of the history and antiquity of Esau Edom, and how basically he is who he is, which is the wicked seed, the cursed for that matter, and he is the devil in the flesh, the devil incarnate. All right. And so for that, him leading our people into the multitudes of slavery that he has, and has abused us and chastened us through the Most High, he then, being the law, you reap what you sow. All right. He will have that same behavior returned unto his own head. And that nation, it'll be as a nation as a whole. All the Edomites will go into slavery. All the other nations will go into slavery, and they will serve a period of slavery and bondage as they made us serve as Israelites. They will do themselves. And it'll be a righteous number unto the Most High as he deems and sees fit. All right. Because that's how the Most High operates. That's how he is. Everything you do, you will answer for. Everything that your hands have done, you will pay for. You know, it's an eye for an eye, a tooth for a tooth. All right. The law of forgiveness is only unto the nation of Israel, and only unto our brethren, our bloodline. All right. These other nations, they're not in that law of forgiveness. They're not under that law of forgiveness. They did what they did, and they do it without discretion and without remorse. So therefore, they'll have the same and worse done unto them. Thus saith the scriptures. I'm sorry, I should have started at Revelations 13 and 9. It says, if any man have an ear, let him hear. And what that means is basically the scriptures is not going to be understood by everybody that hears this prophecy in today, in these times, just like they didn't hear the prophets in the past. in the past. They're not hearing it now. All right. Only certain people are gonna understand, and the Most High is only gonna allow their mind to understand what the men of Great Millstone are teaching, starting with the other apostles down unto myself. What we're teaching, all right, and that's that these nations are going into slavery. There's nuclear destruction coming for the world, all right, and great judgment coming for the world for the wickedness and evil that has been proposed around the world since the Most High, since Yahushua, rather, the Messiah, was murdered. All right, he was murdered and crucified by the Gentiles, being you heathens, man, and by you wicked 2/3. So you have to pay for that, and you will pay for that. Thus saith the scriptures. Coming soon. This is Obadiah chapter. We're gonna start at 10, or well, it's only one chapter. So like, verse 10: For the violence against thy brother, and this is why. So this is what the Most High says, and this is what I believe too. But I'm just telling you, this is what the Most High says. So if you don't like it, you could kick rocks, man. That's what the scripture says. If you call yourself a so-called Christian, or if you call yourself, you believe in the Most High God, and you don't get down with this, then you ain't what you think you are. And you don't read your book. This is Obadiah 1 and 10. For thy violence against thy brother Jacob, Jacob being the progenitor of the Israelites, all right? Jacob being the father of Israel, Esau being the father of Edom, Jacob being the father of Israel, the 12 tribes, all right? The blessed seed, all right? For thy violence against thy brother Jacob, shame shall cover thee, and thou shalt be cut off forever. So after they serve, Esau serves his captivity and his bondage and his slave sentence, all right, unto a righteous recompense unto his own head, then his seed will be removed, will be eliminated from the earth, all right, forevermore. And that's just righteous because, like I said, Esau Edom is the devil in the flesh, man. His spirit is that of Satan. And so for his great atrocities and his great wickedness and for everything that he has done in the past up until now, in which he'll destroy the entire earth coming soon and cause great genocide in this World War III, all right, in this martial law. He's going to have so much bloodshed on his hands, he will have to be eliminated. Thus saith the Most High. He will have to, his spirit and his seed will have to be removed. Now going forward into the future, in the new age, the new era, where Israel will rule, we will rule, starting with the hopeful elect, all right, starting with us, hopeful members of GMS, starting with the elders down. It'll be the elect and the 1/3, all right, being enforcement for these law, statutes, and commandments, all right, over you heathens, and teaching these heathen nations how to keep peace and keep these law, statutes, and commandments, all right. You Edomites, going further and further into it, you will come through the other heathens. Your spirits will, because the Most High is not a man of wastefulness. He's not a spirit of wastefulness. So you Edomites will come through the heathen nations. Your spirits will not be totally eliminated, but you will still be in correction. There will not be any more adversary spirits. There will not be any more Edomite spirits as the adversary as you are, Esau Edom. Continuing on, it says, in the day that thou stoodest on the other side, in the day that the strangers carried away captives his forces, and foreigners entered into his gates, and cast lots upon Jerusalem, even thou was one of them. And that's talking about us today in the spiritual reincarnation. We were one of them that they threw in captivity. They took us in bondage. All right, the Roman kingdom then, who was Esau Edom and is now today Esau Edom in America. All right, it's the same spirit. All right, it's the same people spiritually. If you understand anything with the scriptures, there's a spiritual reincarnation. All right, you come back every so many times through your patriarchy, through your father, through your bloodline. Your spirit will return with no remembrance of your past life, of course, but you will return. All right, so the same way these devils have been doing devil shit since the beginning of time, since Cain, since Esau Edom, is the same way we've been getting our ass whooped and chastened for disobedience to the law, statutes, and commandments as Israelites. All right. And that's why they have to go into slavery, because they'll never stop. They are the anti-force. They are the opposing force. If you know anything about cinema, often referred to as the protagonist and the antagonist, Esau is the antagonist. He will always be the antagonist. That's why there'll never be no peace amongst so-called Negroes and so-called Caucasians. All right. For the most part, I bring color into it, but it's not all at all really to do with color. But I mean, as a basis for the simple-minded, that's for you to grasp onto in your mental why that is never the case. Why so-called Negroes and so-called Caucasians can never seem to put their disagreements aside. And that's why, all right, spiritually, because they are two completely opposite spirits, and they'll never ever be able to commune in agreement as a whole. All right. The Most High made it this way. So if you don't like it, then you don't like the Most High. And there's plenty of you out there, and you gonna get yours, man. Like I said, y'all the same ones that put Hamasha Yak to death. You murdered him, and you gonna murder us for teaching this truth. All right. And that's just your spirit, because you wicked and evil. All right. It says, but thou shouldest not have. Most High said, thou shouldest not have, because he knew you was gonna do it before you did it, but you still did it. That's a scary power, man. That's a fearful thing the Most High get. That's a fearful thing in the Most High. He's going to tell you what you're going to do before you do it, and you still do it. And then tell you what your consequences are for you doing what you did, and you still do it. But thou shouldest not have looked on the day of thy brother in the day that he became a stranger. Neither thou shouldest not have rejoiced over the children of Judah in the day of their destruction. Why were we destroyed? Because of our disobedience to the law, statutes, and commandments. As simple as that. Israel as a whole has always refused to hearken unto the Most High. Regardless of his prophet, or regardless of his leader that he brought to us, being initially was Moses, all right, and then all the way to Yahushua himself. There's always been a remnant that hearkened and listened and attempted to remain true to the Most High, but there's always been a unrighteous majority of the nation of Israel that just ain't having it, all right? And for that reason, the Most High allowed these Edomites to consume us, these other nations to consume us, and basically exponentially reciprocate unto our own heads the things that we wanted in our hearts, as wicked flesh, all right? And that's basically the wickedness of these heathens. That's all they know and do is wickedness, that anti-scripture, all right, anti-law, statutes, and commandments. And they have basically consumed us in the flesh, consumed us in the world, so that now we live in a world today where there is nothing but wickedness and evil all about us. All right. And we see the end and the extent of evil and wickedness and the fruits of that. And that's not something that us as hopeful remnant members want. We don't want the fruit of wickedness anymore. We want the fruit of righteousness unto Yahweh Bashim Yahushai. All right. Neither shouldest thou have spoken proudly in the day of distress. And that's what they did, man. Just like these Edomites do today. You know, these militaries, these super Edomite militaries, being the American government, which they're all funded by the Rothschilds, Rockefellers, and DuPonts, man, the wicked elite. All right, the 1%ers, the ones that own the majority of the world and the wealth therein, and the land. All right. They fund the Russian government. They fund the American government. They fund the central bank. They fund the International Monetary Fund. They fund the petrodollar. That's what their system is. That's the beast. That's their paradigm. All right. That's how they operate. But within that, they speak proudly, man. You see Trump, as the so-called leader of America, he's a proud devil, man. He speaks proudly, he talks about, oh, we're all over in the Middle East. We grab this oil up. We have these U.S. soldiers dying and they ain't coming home. Basically is what he's saying. But, in a devilish tongue, he tells the people something that they'll abide by and be pacified with. All right. That's the nature of the devil. All right. They speak pridefully. Pride befalleth a man before his fall. The Most High hates a prideful spirit. That's why, as Israelites, as hopeful members of the hopeful elect, we have to try and remain humble and be meek and be humble, because the Most High could change our estate to a lowly one in the snap of a finger. All right, even less than. So we have to be fearful and remember that. All right, these devils, them being wicked, if he gonna if he recompense the righteous, how much more is he gonna recompense the wicked? Thus say the scriptures.